Welcome back. Story 1. Am I the a-hole for kicking my 72-year-old mother-in-law out of the house at night because she threw away my things? I, 36 female, live with my husband, 41 male. I have a decent relationship with my mother-in-law compared to a lot of the horror stories I hear from friends. She's quite sweet and warm. She is, however, a little over-controlling, overprotective. I'm not sure of the exact word, but she has very strong ideas about things and no sense of boundaries. For example, when she stays at our house, she takes over the kitchen completely and insists on cooking all our meals. She cooks wonderfully, but she won't let me help her at all and puts everything away in the wrong places, and then insists that her way is more logical. She only really comes for holidays though, and I do like her a lot, so I don't mind putting up with these mild annoyances. I'm currently pregnant with our little girl who will be born in a few months. This is a miracle. I really didn't think it would happen, especially so late, but we got lucky. When my mother-in-law heard, she was super excited and said she would come over to help us get ready for the baby. She offered to stay for the next 6 months or so to help out, because my husband and I both work long hours, and it will be hard to handle the baby on top of this. She is also pretty emotionally invested in this, because she truly sees herself as part of our family. She arrived a few days ago and set herself up. Then she started with the cleaning. I like collecting things from garage sales and such. Things like little sculptures and books and baskets, stuff a lot of people would consider utter junk. Our house is definitely overstuffed, but it's reasonably tidy and doesn't seem like a hoarder's house or anything. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, likes everything surgically clean. Yesterday, I came home from work to find the house like a war zone. She went through my cabinets and cleared out everything she considered junk, and had apparently made several trips to Goodwill before I got home. I was really angry and I asked her why she would ever do this. She said the house has to be tidy for the baby and that it would be dangerous for the baby to be in my cluttered house. Then she took the next huge bag of stuff and tried to walk out the door. I kind of lost it and I told her she could get out right now. She was shocked that I was serious, and she said she doesn't have anywhere to go and it's so late. It was about 9:30. I booked her a hotel room and called a taxi. My husband came home an hour later, and when I told him what happened, he was furious with me. He says I disrespected his mom and was ungrateful for everything she's trying to do for us. Am I the a-hole? Update. Thank you to everyone who replied to my post. Appreciate the advice and wishes for the baby. So I talked to my husband after we both cooled down a bit, and I told him I felt let down that he didn't support me. He said it was just stuff, and he didn't think I cared that much. I also asked him if he asked his mom to declutter and if he has a problem with my things. He said no. He literally has zero opinion about my decor or collections. I believe him, because this is the guy who doesn't know the difference between blue and purple. So he said that's why he thought I overreacted, because in his mind it's just stuff and not nearly as important as a person whose feelings can be hurt. I said that my things matter to me because I've put effort into collecting, fixing them, and that some hold memories too. He said he understands and he apologized. We went and brought my mother-in-law home from the hotel in the morning, and I said I was sorry for losing my temper and asked her if we could talk. She was still upset but agreed. I told her I should have said this a long time ago, but I don't like it when she takes over and doesn't treat my home like it's mine. She seemed offended, but she said okay. I told her I would be really grateful if she helps with the baby, and I want her in my child's life. But she has to work with me and not just do everything herself. She said, but you work. And I said that I know it's not what she did when she had a child, but I want to make this work. and I think I can have a job and also be in charge of my home. She was definitely annoyed, but she agreed to everything and didn't argue, so I think it will work out okay. I unfortunately couldn't get my stuff back though, but I have plenty more rocks hidden away. You're not the a-hole hero, P. Your mother-in-law came into your home and threw your stuff out. It doesn't matter if she thinks they're junks or if your husband thinks they're just stuff. She has no right to throw your things away. And at the end of the day, she didn't even apologize for that. So I'm not sure how much of talking to her actually worked. You have to have it at the back of your mind that it's very likely that she could easily go back to behaving like she owns your home again, and when that happens, you have to be ready to let her leave. Now for some comments. I'm glad your husband apologized and that you and your mother-in-law came to an agreement. I think you were a little too soft with her in how you asked for things, rather than letting her know what she needs to do. This can be delivered kindly, but in a way that's not you asking to be respected in your own home, as if she has the right to refuse. So I hope it goes well, but don't be surprised if she oversteps again, I guess is my point. Honestly, I think your husband is still wrong. I would have asked my mother-in-law to take me to Goodwill and buy back every item she had given away. That's a huge violation. Your husband must have seen you spend literal years collecting all these things. I straight up do not believe he didn't know they were important to you. He just didn't want to upset his mom. Even if he believed the stuff was less important than a person whose feelings can be hurt. Getting rid of the stuff hurt your feelings, so why was his mom being allowed to throw things away more important than you? You're being too soft on mother-in-law, frankly. She should be cutting you a check for all the stuff she gave away at minimum. And as much as I know you want her help, this disrespect is going to eventually start happening again. Maybe in difficult ways than outright throwing your stuff away, but I really doubt she's done. The fact that she acted offended and didn't even apologize makes me very suspicious that she's going to hold this against you and find other ways to wedge herself between you and your husband. If you can, I would really suggest finding other means of support. Somebody who respects you wouldn't have ever thrown out your things, much less doubled down on their attitude when you confronted them. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for not going to my twins' wedding? I, 24 male, have an identical twin. We're not close, but I thought we had basic mutual respect. That belief was tested. I grew up in a traditional southern town and only began coming out in college about 5 years ago. It's been slow, especially with family, but since moving to DC in 23 for school and work, I felt more comfortable living authentically. After moving, I met my boyfriend, 26 male, and we've been together 2 years. Over time, I've introduced him to friends and family when I felt safe. Cut to November 24. I was home for the holidays and told my twin and his fiancé about my boyfriend. They seemed happy for me. While staying with them, wedding details arose, and they asked if I would be bringing a date. I said yes, my boyfriend. My twin had gone to bed, but his fiancé said, "While there are pros and cons, it's up to you if you want to bring him." That felt like a green light. My twin constantly deferred to her on decisions, so I didn't think I needed to double check. 5 months passed. My boyfriend and I had spent $1,300 on travel, flights, hotels, etc. 3 weeks before the wedding. I mentioned on a call with my brother that we were all set. His tone shifted. "Oh, is boyfriend actually coming?" I reminded him of the conversation with his fiancée. He said, "She never gave me permission," and accused me of making it up. Then said, "We can't allow your boyfriend to come. We worry how dad's side will react." I offered to call dad on the spot. He dodged, saying he would check with his fiancée, despite just saying it was his decision. An hour later, no change. I was still invited alone, still expected to buy a groomsman match suiting, even though I wasn't in the party, and show up smiling. That's when I snapped. I said, if I didn't invite your fiancé to my wedding, would you still come? He couldn't answer and ended the call after some harsh words. Trying to make things right, I came out to my dad, which I feared for years, to explain the situation. He was surprisingly indifferent and even said uninviting my boyfriend was extreme. He offered to talk to extended family. I thought I was removing the main obstacle. Weeks later, my twin called again. He now claimed our friends would be weirded out. So the excuse shifted. I said, if my boyfriend's not invited, I'm not coming. He didn't budge. Here's the kicker. Days later, my dad told me the fiancée admitted she did give me permission but changed her mind when she remembered. Who would be there? She denied this to my twin. Also, one of her bridesmaids is openly gay and brought a girlfriend. But according to the fiancé, she's not part of the family, so it's different. So I didn't go. I'm still wondering if I made the wrong call. My absence was noticed. I got texts asking where I was. My mom had to explain it repeatedly. So instead of avoiding attention, my absence became the story. My relationship with my twin is dead, and some family ties now feel fragile. Part of me wonders, should I have sucked it up and gone solo just to preserve bonds that shaped my early life? So am I the a-hole for skipping the wedding? You're not the a-hole for skipping out on your twin's wedding, OP. I understand that it sucks that your relationship with him is gone, but know that it's not your fault. You actually tried to make peace, tried to find out their reason for not inviting your boyfriend, and fix it, but he lied to you, blamed your dad when trying to cover up for his fiancée, who changed her mind out of the blue and chose his fiancée over you at the end of the day. You didn't destroy the relationship. Your twin did. Don't feel bad. If anyone should feel bad, it should be him. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole at all. If you are visibly clearly identical twins, my best guess is that someone made a comment about the increased likelihood of identical twins sharing a sexuality, and he did the shitty thing of putting that insecurity on you. I'm only saying that because it seems to be focused on your sexuality specifically and not others in the wedding party. Not the a-hole. You actually did a lot, going out of your way trying to avoid this undesirable outcome. To me, their reaction just shows that whatever stupid problems they had about you being gay are bigger than their wish to have you at the wedding. Your brother and his wife should be munching this in their minds now, not you. Not the a-hole. Your dad being indifferent, supportive came so far out of left field. It would have been fine if that had resolved the issue. After all, backlash from family is a major reason why people are afraid of coming out, and even just supporting a queer family member can lead to negative experiences with the homophobes in the extended family. But that's not what happened. The excuse shifted. Okay, maybe the friends, there's a lesbian bridesmaid who's allowed to bring her girlfriend. Sorry, but your brother and his wife are awful.